Vampires have been one of the most intriguing and compelling characters in mythology throughout history. These beings have captured the imaginations of people for centuries, with their tales of immortal life, supernatural powers, and a sinister existence. While there are countless myths and legends surrounding vampires, one of the most popular and enduring stories can be traced back to the 1500s. The origin of vampires can be found in ancient folklore and superstitions. In ancient civilizations, there were tales of creatures that fed on the blood of the living, such as Lilith in Mesopotamian mythology and the Lamia in Greek mythology. These beings were depicted as seductive and frightening, often preying on the innocent and vulnerable. However, it wasn't until the 1500s that the term vampire was first coined, and the legend truly took hold. During this time, Europe was plagued by epidemics and outbreaks of deadly diseases such as the bubonic plague. The lack of understanding and medical knowledge led people to believe that these diseases were caused by supernatural forces. When bodies would be exhumed, they would often appear bloated, with blood still flowing from their mouths. This led people to believe that the deceased were rising from their graves and feasting on the blood of the living. These fears and beliefs only intensified with the publication of a book called The New Chronicles of England and France in 1531. In this book, the author described mysterious and malevolent creatures, known as vampires, that would return from the dead to torment the living. This book, along with other popular literature at the time, fueled the imagination and solidified the belief in vampires as real beings. The legend of vampires continued to spread throughout Europe in the following centuries, with numerous accounts of supposed vampire attacks and sightings. However, it was in the 1800s that the most famous vampire story of all time emerged, Dracula by Bram Stoker. This novel, based on Vlad the Impaler, took the world by storm and cemented the image of the vampire as a suave yet deadly creature of the night. The story of Dracula is a tale of seduction, power, and darkness. Count Dracula, a Transylvanian nobleman, moves to England and begins to prey on the innocent. He uses his charm and supernatural abilities to lure his victims into his grasp, leaving them weak and under his control. The protagonist, Jonathan Harker, becomes entangled in the web of the vampire and must fight for his life and the lives of those he loves. Stoker's novel was groundbreaking in its portrayal of the vampire as a being with intense allure and allure. It also introduced the concept of the vampire having supernatural abilities, such as the power to shapeshift, control the minds of others, and defy death. These traits have become iconic in the vampire lore and have been featured in countless books, films, and television shows. Aside from Dracula, there are countless other vampire stories from the 1500s that have been passed down through the generations. In Romanian folklore, there is the story of the strigoi, which are said to be restless spirits that return from the dead to drink the blood of the living. Similarly, in Slavic mythology, there is the moroi, a vampire-like creature that is said to emerge from the grave and haunt the living. Throughout the centuries, the tales of vampires have evolved, and new versions continue to emerge. Some believe that vampires are cursed beings, punished for their sins and condemned to an immortal existence. Others believe that they are simply a different species, with their own laws and hierarchy. Whatever the belief may be, there is no denying the impact that vampires have had on popular culture and mythology. In conclusion, the vampire story in mythology is a tale that has spanned centuries and captivated audiences around the world. From the mysterious creatures of ancient lore to the cunning and seductive beings of modern literature, vampires have evolved into an iconic and enduring symbol of the supernatural. Whether real or just a figment of the imagination, the legend of vampires will continue to fascinate and intrigue us for generations to come.